This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I want to show you how to create rhythmic delays using a multi-tap delay. And before I showed you how to do maybe like ambient sounds for guitar, but this time I want to show you how you can use a multi-tap delay to create interesting rhythmic textures. So here I have this sound, which you probably heard in the intro. So I'm going to show you how you can create that. First, I'll show you what it sounds like with no delay on there at all. It just sounds like this. It's just a C chord being played by 3 different synthesizers. But let's focus in on this last one here. So this is what it sounds like with the delay on. So let's try to replicate that. So I have it here, but let's start over and I'll show you exactly how I did it. Go to B here. I only have 1 band, but we're going to need 3 bands to do this. So I'm going to click default 3 like that. Yes. Going to have to right click it again and now go into disabled. Now that's going to create our multi-tap delay. This is exactly what I want. Now let's do some basic setup. I'm going to click the link function so that way what applies to this band will also change in the other bands. I'm going to turn the feedback down. Make sure this is set to classic. Enable tap 2. Make sure it's also set to classic. Now click enable. And we're going to use 16th notes. This and this. Okay. Oh, make sure the feedback is also turned down here, and make sure my output gain is turned down a bit because I don't want it to be too loud. I'm using 3 delays, so it can get loud. So I have everything set up, and now we're going to go in and tweak things. So I'll go to this, band 1, turn the link off, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to input a Euclidean rhythm. I don't want to explain this too much, but basically Euclidean rhythm is a way to divide up something evenly. And so in this case, we're going to use 16th notes, and we're going to use 7 16th notes in 1 bar. And so on the screen, I'll show you the pattern. The ones will be hits, the zeros will be rests. And so the first one is going to be the dry signal. Next is going to be a rest, next is going to be a rest, and then a hit, which is going to be our first delay here. So here on band 1, tap 1, this should be 4, the 4th note. The next one should be 6. Go to band 2 here. The next one should be 8, I believe. After that should be, was it 11? Then after that is 13. And 15, I think. I believe that's it. I'm not sure if I actually did that right. Let me check the A to make sure everything's right. This is 12 and 14. So 7, 10, 12, 14. I am off. So 7, 10, 12, and 14. Okay. So let's just take a quick listen to that, see how it sounds. So that's alright. Let's turn the output gain up a little bit, and the other thing I need to do is I need to pan the delays. So I'm going to hit the link function again, pan this left, pan this right, and as you see in the other bands, all those are panned now. So now let's hear it. Now that's what I want to hear. So now let's hear all of them together. I think I screwed up the rhythm in the beginning also. This one, A, this is 3-5, whereas here it's 4-6. So they are a little bit different, but like I said, I just chose Euclidean rhythm even though I messed it up there. They both sound good, and you can mess with this and do any type of pattern you want. You don't have to use a Euclidean rhythm. You can do anything that sounds good to you. So by doing that, you can take something like this, which is just a boring chord, and then turn it into something that sounds more interesting like this. Okay, so now that we have that, let's do one more example. Okay, this example is what I call like a bouncing ball delay. It basically sounds like if you drop something on a drum, like a ball on a drum, where it starts off being even and then it kind of speeds up over time. So let me show you how to do this. So the first thing we're going to do is we need quite a few bands. Let's try 4 bands like this. Do the same thing as before. Use disabled like that. Turn the output down. Now what I want to do is I want to do the basic setup. Click link, turn the feedback off, make sure everything is set to classic, enable band 2 also, synchronize things like this. Eighth notes are okay, so I'll leave it there, and I believe everything is where I want it to be. So this time I'm going to use this modify parameter as well as the count. So for these first, I just want to make sure each one is ascending, going like 1. This one is going to be 2. This will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Now when I do this and I play it, it's not going to sound that interesting. Let me bypass it first so you can hear the dry sound. Just a basic wood block, and here's what it sounds like with it on. Okay, so I have the feedback on one of them. I should have linked that and turned the feedback down. I almost forgot. But you get the idea. It's just an eighth note delay. That's not interesting at all. So you're thinking like, why did you do that? But what you can do, and if you want to make it sound like it's speeding up, adjust the modify parameter. So each one of these I'm going to turn down by 5%. So leave this at 100, turn this down to 95%, turn this down to 90%, approximately. It doesn't have to be perfect. Turn this down to 85, turn this down to 80, turn this down to 75, 70, and last 65. Okay, let's hear it now. That's better. One other thing we should probably do is decrease the volume. So the second band I'm going to decrease by 3 decibels, so -3. Next one -6 approximately. And the next one -9. Okay, now let's hear it. That's what I want, that kind of bouncing ball where it sounds like you're dropping something. And one good thing about this and using the link function, we can actually make this faster or slower. So here I think eighth notes are a bit too slow, so let's try 16th notes. I linked it so all the other ones are changed at the same time. Now let's listen to it. Or I think, okay, maybe that's not quite exactly what I want, so let's try dotted 16ths like this. Or if I think, okay, maybe a little bit slower, let's try eighth note triplets. Maybe that's the exact tempo I want. You can experiment with that as much as you want. I probably need to turn this down a little bit. That's another thing. Make sure you're watching out for that. But that gives you an idea of something you can do. You could also pan this, use the panorama, so you have all sorts of strange stereo effects like this. Personally, I think it sounds better centered, or maybe I could move each one of these over to the left slightly. So this over to the left, this a little bit more, this a little bit more, this a little bit more, more, and then finally all the way over. So it sounds like it's kind of falling to the left. Like I said, you can do all sorts of interesting things with it and come up with your own cool and creative ideas. But I hope this gave you some interesting ideas for rhythmic delays and things you can do with this to spice up maybe just boring hits or patterns. So these types of rhythmic things can really add some interest to your music. But make sure you check out all the plugins at meldaproduction.com. Subscribe if you haven't done that. Give me a thumbs up, and until next time, see you.